I was scrolling through social media during my lunch break at the construction site when I saw the photos. My sister Amanda, grinning in designer sunglasses on a Hawaiian beach. Expensive cocktails. Luxury hotel room. My stomach dropped. 3 days earlier, Mom had called me sobbing about her emergency heart medication that insurance refused to cover. $2,000 she desperately needed. I sent it immediately, even though it meant skipping my own truck payment. Now I stared at Amanda's vacation photos, posted that same afternoon Mom got my wire transfer. The caption read, "Living our best life." Everything suddenly made perfect, horrible sense. That evening, I sat in my small apartment staring at my phone. My hands were shaking. I called Mom around 7, keeping my voice casual and light. "Just checking in on you. How are you feeling? Did that medication help?" Her response came smooth as silk. "Oh, sweetie, yes. I feel so much better already. Thank you so much for helping me. You're such a good son." I felt nauseous. The lie rolled off her tongue like she'd told it 1,000 times before. After we hung up, I pulled out my laptop and opened my bank account. I went back through 5 years of transaction history, creating a spreadsheet of every transfer I'd made to Mom. The numbers were staggering. $73,400. Nearly $75,000 I'd sent over 5 years. I remembered every single request. Her mortgage payment when she said the bank was threatening foreclosure. $6,000. Medical bills from her supposed emergency surgery. $12,000. New roof after storm damage. $8,000. Furnace replacement during a brutal winter. $5,000. Property taxes she couldn't cover. $4,000. Dental emergency, requiring immediate implants. $7,000. Car repairs, utility bills, prescription costs. The list went on and on. I created a fake Facebook profile under a generic name with a random profile picture I pulled from a stock photo site. Then I went deep into Amanda's social media history, scrolling back through years of posts. I started matching dates. The pattern was unmistakable. Devastating. March 2 years ago. I sent Mom $6,000 for emergency roof repairs after storm damage. 4 days later, Amanda posted photos of her brand new SUV. A luxury model, $35,000 price tag based on the model year and trim level visible in her proud photos. July that same year. I sent Mom $12,000 for emergency surgery and hospital bills. 1 week later, Amanda posted a complete kitchen renovation reveal. Granite countertops, new appliances, custom cabinets. She tagged a local contractor who specialized in high-end remodels. November. I sent $5,000 for a broken furnace in the middle of a cold snap. Amanda posted her new living room furniture set the following weekend. Expensive leather couches, designer coffee table, imported rug. The correlation continued through every major transfer. Disney World family vacation, new laptop, professional photography equipment for Derek, Amanda's husband, a backyard playset for their 2 kids that cost more than my monthly rent. I felt sick, betrayed, furious. But mostly, I felt stupid. How had I not seen this before? I needed to talk to someone I could trust. Someone outside the immediate situation. I called my Aunt Carol, Mom's older sister who lived in Ohio. Carol had always been kind to me, and she'd maintained some distance from the family drama over the years. "Steve, honey, it's so good to hear from you," she answered warmly. "Aunt Carol, I need to ask you something, and I need you to be honest with me." There was a long pause. "What is it? Does Mom really have health problems? Heart medication? Medical emergencies?" The silence stretched out even longer this time. Finally, Carol sighed deeply. "Oh, Steve, I was hoping you'd never have to know." My heart sank. "Know what? Your mother is perfectly healthy. She hasn't had a medical emergency in over 10 years. Her house has been paid off for a decade. She owns it free and clear. She's been lying to you. The words hit me like physical blows. You've known? Most of the family knows, sweetheart. We thought you knew too. We thought you were just being generous because you're successful and you don't have kids of your own. Where is the money going? Carol hesitated. Amanda and Derek. Derek lost his sales job about 3 years ago. He never found another one. They've been living off what you send. Your mother funnels everything directly to them. Why would she do that? Because Amanda convinced her to. Amanda told your mother that you owe her. She's been saying for years that your parents paid for her college education while you went into construction instead of university, so you owe the family for that choice. She actually believes you're obligated to support her lifestyle. I couldn't speak. The betrayal was so much deeper than I'd imagined. Steve, I'm sorry. I should have told you years ago. The whole family has been complicit in this. Your mother brags about how generous you are. But everyone knows the truth. They think you're either stupid or you're fine with it. I had no idea about any of this. I know that now. What are you going to do? I made my decision right there on the phone. I'm cutting them off. Completely. But I'm not going to tell them why. I'm just going to stop sending money and see what happens. Be careful, Steve. Your mother won't take that well. Neither will Amanda. I don't care anymore. I'm done being their ATM. After we hung up, I sat in the darkness of my apartment for a long time. 5 years of my life. $75,000. All based on lies. Every sacrifice I'd made. Every bill I'd struggled to pay. Every date I'd skipped because I didn't have money left after sending it to Mom. All of it was so my sister could live like a wealthy housewife, while her husband sat at home doing nothing. I thought about confronting them. Demanding answers. Yelling. Making them admit what they'd done, but I realized something better. Silence was more powerful. I would simply disappear as their funding source and watch what happened when the money stopped flowing. No drama. No explanations. Just a quiet shutdown and observation. I didn't realize then that this decision would nearly destroy my entire life. The first call came 2 weeks later. I'd ignored 3 previous calls from Mom, letting them go to voicemail with generic excuses texted back about being busy at work. But this time I answered. Steve, thank goodness. I've been trying to reach you. Sorry, Mom. Work's been crazy. What's going on? Honey, I have a plumbing emergency. The main line backed up and flooded my basement. The plumber says it's going to cost $3,000 to fix. I don't have that kind of money saved up. Can you help? Her voice sounded stressed, but I noticed she didn't sound quite as desperate as usual. This was a test. She was checking to see if I'd still respond. Oh man, Mom, that's terrible. I wish I could help, but my truck just died. I'm looking at major transmission work. Maybe even a replacement. It's going to cost me everything I have saved. I literally can't help right now. Silence on the other end. Then, oh. Well, how much is your truck going to cost? At least $4,000, maybe more. I'm trying to figure out if I should repair it or just buy something used. I see. Well, maybe in a few weeks? Maybe. I'll have to see how the truck situation shakes out. Sorry, Mom. It's okay, sweetie. I understand. I'll figure something out. Her tone had shifted. Less warm. Slightly harder. But she backed off. 2 more weeks passed. I actually did buy a used truck. A decent Ford. With reasonable mileage. Using money I'd saved for the first time in 5 years. It felt incredible to spend money on myself, on something I actually needed. I took my girlfriend Sarah out to a proper dinner date. Sarah was a nurse I'd been seeing for 8 months. She was beautiful, kind, and patient with my crazy work schedule. But our relationship had been limited because I was always broke. We'd done cheap dates, walks in the park, cooking at home. This time, I took her to a nice Italian restaurant. Not fancy, but nice, We had wine, dessert. "This is wonderful," Sarah said, smiling across the table. "What's the occasion?" "No occasion. Just wanted to treat you right for once." She squeezed my hand. "Steve, you always treat me right. You don't need to spend money to prove anything. That's why I liked her. She never pressured me about money, never complained about our budget dates. She just appreciated the time we spent together. For 3 weeks, I felt like I was finally living my own life. I bought new work boots without guilt. I went to a baseball game with my coworker. I started putting money into savings again. Then the family intervention began. My Uncle Frank called first. Frank was Mom's younger brother, a mechanic who lived about an hour from her. "Steve, what the hell is going on with you and your mother?" "What do you mean?" "She's devastated, kid. Says you've abandoned her when she needs you most, after everything she sacrificed raising you alone after your dad died." "This is how you repay her?" "Frank, I've got my own bills to deal with right now." "Your own bills?" "You're a project manager at a construction company. Everyone knows you make good money. Your mother is living on a fixed income. How can you be so selfish?" The accusation stung, especially since Frank had no idea about the truth. "I'm not being selfish. I'm taking care of my own expenses for once." "Whatever, man. I thought you were better than this." He hung up. Next came my Aunt Patricia, my dad's sister. "Steve, your mother called me in tears. She said you won't help her anymore." "What's changed?" "You've always been so good to her." "Nothing's changed, Aunt Patricia. I just need to focus on my own finances right now." "But she raised you. She sacrificed everything after your father died. Don't you think you owe her something?" There was that word again. "Oh. Like I was in debt for being born. I've helped Mom plenty over the years. Right now, I need to help myself." Patricia's voice turned cold. "I'm very disappointed in you, Steve. Your father would be ashamed." That one hurt. My dad had died 7 years ago, sudden heart attack at 52. He'd been a good man, a hard worker. The idea that he'd be ashamed of me for not letting myself be scammed felt like a knife twisting in my chest. My cousin Marcus texted, "Heard you're too cheap to help your own mom now. Real classy." Steve. The messages kept coming. Relatives I hadn't heard from in years suddenly had opinions about my relationship with my mother. The narrative was clear. I was the ungrateful son, abandoning his poor, struggling mother in her time of need. I didn't defend myself. I didn't explain. I just absorbed the criticism and stayed quiet. Amanda sent a long text message. "I can't believe you're treating Mom this way. After everything she's done for you, Dad would be so disappointed. She's crying every day because of you. She gave you everything, and this is how you repay her? I always knew you were selfish. But this is a new low. Mom sacrificed her entire life for us. And you can't even help her with basic expenses? Grow up and take responsibility for your family." I deleted the message without responding. Then, on a Tuesday evening, someone knocked on my apartment door. I opened it to find Mom standing there. She looked terrible. Hair slightly messy, face pale, moving slowly like each step hurt. She was playing the part of a frail, struggling elderly woman. "Mom, what are you doing here?" "That's a 4-hour drive. I had to see you, sweetheart. Can I come in?" I stepped aside and let her enter. She moved to my couch and sat down carefully, like her bones were fragile. "Steve, we need to talk." I sat across from her, waiting. "I owe you an apology." Her eyes filled with tears. "I haven't been completely honest with you." My heart rate picked up. Was she actually going to confess? "I gave some of the money you sent me to Amanda. Not all of it, but some." She was desperate, Steve. Derek's been struggling to find work, and they have 2 little kids to feed. I didn't want to worry you with their problems, so I helped them quietly. I thought I was doing the right thing. It was a partial confession, A calculated admission, designed to seem honest, while still protecting the full extent of the lies. How much did you give her? I don't know exactly. A few thousand here and there over the past couple years. I know I should have asked you first. I'm sorry. It was wrong of me. A few thousand. The reality was probably closer to 60 or 70,000. But she was minimizing it, testing to see if I knew more. Mom, I can't keep sending you money. I need to focus on my own life. Her tears increased. I understand. I made a mistake. But Steve, please, just this one last time. I really do have property taxes due. $5,000. If I don't pay by next month, I could lose my house. After this, I promise I'll manage on my own. No more asking. I just need this one thing. I looked at her, really looked at her. And that's when I saw it. She was wearing a new watch. Expensive looking. Silver with small diamonds around the face. I recognized it because Amanda had posted a photo 2 months ago with the caption, "My sweet mom bought us matching watches. Love you, Mama." My mother had used my money to buy herself and Amanda matching expensive watches, and now she was sitting in my apartment, fake crying, asking for $5,000 more, while wearing the evidence of her lies on her wrist. No, Mom. Her tears stopped almost instantly. What? No. I'm not giving you any more money. Steve, you don't understand. I could lose my house. No, you won't. Because your house has been paid off for 10 years. Her face changed. The mask dropped. The frailty vanished. She sat up straight, her expression hardening. Who told you that? Does it matter? I know the truth, Mom. I know you've been funneling my money to Amanda. I know. There are no medical emergencies, no emergency repairs, no property taxes. I know everything. She stood up, suddenly moving with perfect ease. No more pretending to be weak. You're making a mistake, Steve. The only mistake I made was believing you for 5 years. You'll regret this. Family is supposed to stick together. You're going to regret turning your back on us. I think you should leave. She grabbed her purse and walked to the door. Before leaving, she turned back to me. Her voice was ice cold. This isn't over. The door closed behind her, and I stood alone in my apartment, my hands shaking. I'd stood my ground. I'd said no. I thought I'd won. I had no idea the war had just begun. The shift happened fast. Within a week, my phone was exploding with messages, but the tone had changed from disappointed to hostile. My cousin Jennifer, who I barely knew, sent a long message accusing me of stealing from Mom. Everyone knows you borrowed money from her for your business investments, and now you won't pay her back. You're a thief. Business investments? I didn't have any business investments. I was a construction project manager, not an entrepreneur. Uncle Frank called again, this time angry instead of disappointed. Your mother showed me the loan agreement, Steve. $50,000 she loaned you over the years, and you're refusing to pay her back. That's fraud. That's theft. What loan agreements? Frank, I never borrowed money from Mom. She's lying to you. I saw the papers, Steve. Your signature, dates, amounts. She's been keeping records. You defaulted. And now she's going to lose her house because you won't repay what you owe. My stomach dropped. Those papers are fake. I never signed anything. Sure, Steve. Whatever helps you sleep at night. He hung up on me. I called Aunt Carol immediately. They're telling everyone I borrowed money from Mom, that I owe her $50,000. It's completely made up. Oh no. Steve, your mother is good at this. She's been planning this. You need to protect yourself. How? How do I prove something didn't happen? You have your bank records showing you sent her money, right? Yes, but she's apparently telling people those were loan repayments. She's twisted the whole narrative. Carol was quiet for a moment. This is worse than I thought. She's not just cutting you off from the family. She's trying to destroy your reputation so thoroughly that no one will believe you if you try to tell the truth. She was right. Over the next few days, the family assault intensified. People I hadn't talked to in years were suddenly weighing in on social media, making vague posts about ungrateful children and family betrayal. Then Mom made her move on Facebook. She posted in a local community group from our hometown. Sometimes the people you love most are the ones who hurt you deepest. I'm heartbroken over a family situation I never imagined I'd face. All I ever wanted was to help my children succeed. Now I'm facing the loss of my home because of choices I made out of love, praying for strength and wisdom. The post was vague enough to avoid being obviously false, but specific enough that anyone who knew our family could read between the lines. Within hours, it had 50 comments. People from my high school were commenting. Former teachers, neighbors from the street I grew up on, sending prayers. You're such a strong woman. I'm so sorry you're going through this. Family can be so disappointing. Stay strong. Mrs. Peterson, my 10th grade English teacher, commented. I always thought Steve was such a nice boy. I'm shocked to hear about this situation. You deserve better. My reputation in my hometown was being systematically destroyed, and I couldn't defend myself without looking like I was attacking my own mother. Then, it hit my professional life. My boss, Marcus, called me into his office on a Thursday afternoon. Marcus was a good guy, mid-50s, built like he'd spent his whole life in construction because he had. He'd given me my first project manager role 3 years ago. Steve, we need to talk about something. I sat down, sensing trouble. HR got an anonymous email this morning. Someone claiming you've been having financial problems and might be embezzling from project budgets. My blood ran cold. That's insane. Marcus, I don't even have access to project funds. I manage schedules and contractors, not money. I know that. HR knows that. But they have to file a report and do a review anyway. It's policy when there's an allegation, even an obviously false one. This is my mother. Or my sister. They're trying to destroy me because I stopped giving them money. Marcus rubbed his face. I figured it was something personal. But Steve, I've got to follow protocol. HR is going to want to review your work. Talk to you. It's going to be a thing. I haven't done anything wrong. I believe you. But the allegation exists now, and we have to respond to it. I left his office feeling sick. They were going after my job. The one stable thing in my life was now under threat. That evening, Sarah came over. She looked upset. Steve, I need to show you something. She pulled out her phone and showed me her Facebook messages. 3 different people, strangers to her, had sent her warnings about me. Screenshots of Mom's posts. Messages saying she should be careful with me, that I use people for money, that I have serious character issues. Sarah, none of that is true. My mother and sister have been scamming me for years. I stopped giving them money, and now they're trying to destroy my reputation. I believe you, Steve. But look at this. She showed me her phone. Her mother had called her earlier that day. Sarah's parents were traditional, protective. They'd met me a few times and seemed to like me, but they were cautious people. My mom said I should be careful with you until this family situation gets cleared up. She saw some of the Facebook posts. She doesn't know what to believe, but she's worried. Your parents think I'm scamming my own mother? They don't know what to think. They just want me to be safe. Sarah's eyes filled with tears. Steve, I believe you completely, but this is getting really messy, and I don't know how to handle my parents being worried. What are you saying? Maybe we should take a break. Just until you can sort this out with your family. I don't want to, but the pressure from my parents is intense, and I don't want to fight with them over something when I don't have all the information. You do have all the information. I've told you everything. I know, and I believe you. But from the outside, it looks really bad. Your whole family is saying one thing, and you're saying another. My parents just want me to be cautious. I felt my world crumbling. So you're breaking up with me because my family is lying about me? Not breaking up. Just taking a break. Some space, until this settles down. Sarah. If you believe me, then stand by me. That's what people do when they care about each other. She was crying now. I do care about you. That's why this is so hard. But I need to think about my family too. They're scared for me. Can you understand that? I could, but it didn't make it hurt less. Fine. Take your break. She left, and I sat alone in my apartment, my life falling apart piece by piece. I'd cut off the money thinking it would solve the problem. Instead, it created a bigger problem. Then I defended myself with the truth, and that created an even bigger problem that was destroying my reputation, threatening my job, and costing me my relationship. Mom and Amanda had declared war, and they were winning. Amanda posted on social media that night. Sometimes you have to stand up for what's right, even when it's family. Protecting my mother from exploitation isn't easy, but it's necessary. Truth always comes to light. The comments were overwhelmingly supportive. People who didn't know the real story saw her as a devoted daughter, protecting her vulnerable mother from her predatory brother. I was the villain in a story where I'd been the victim all along. 3 days later, a courier delivered an envelope to my apartment. Legal papers. I opened them with shaking hands. Amanda and Derek were suing me in civil court for $60,000 in unpaid family loans. The lawsuit included attached documentation, promissory notes with my signature, text message screenshots showing me allegedly requesting money, sworn affidavits from my mother, corroborating their claim that she'd loaned me money over the years that I'd promised to repay. The promissory notes looked official, dated over several years. Each one showed me borrowing amounts ranging from $5,000 to $15,000. The signatures looked like mine. They were forged, but they were good forgeries. The text messages were fabricated screenshots. Fake conversations where I supposedly texted Mom asking for loans for business opportunities and investment chances. They'd created an entire false narrative with visual evidence. My mother's affidavit was detailed and convincing. She claimed she'd emptied her retirement savings to help me pursue various failed business ventures. She said she'd kept quiet about it because she didn't want to embarrass me. But now she needed the money back because she was facing foreclosure. It was all lies. But it looked disturbingly real. The same day, I received a call from Adult Protective Services. A social worker named Janet Patterson informed me that a report had been filed, claiming I'd been financially exploiting my elderly mother. Mr. Johnson, these are serious allegations. We need to schedule an interview with you to discuss your financial relationship with your mother. This is completely false. My mother has been scamming me, not the other way around. We'll need to investigate the situation fully. I'll need access to your financial records, and we'll be interviewing your mother as well. Can you come to our office Monday at 10? I had no choice but to agree. I called the only lawyer I knew, a guy named Gerald, who'd helped my former roommate with a landlord dispute. Gerald specialized in civil litigation and family law. His consultation fee was $300. We met in his office on Friday afternoon. I brought every bank record I had, every text message from Mom, every piece of evidence I could gather. Gerald reviewed everything carefully. He was in his 50s, gray hair, tired eyes, but sharp. After an hour, he looked up at me. Steve, you're in a difficult position. The truth is on your side. Your bank records clearly show money flowing from you to your mother, not the reverse. But the documents they've produced are good, really good. The forgeries are skilled enough that we'll need a forensic document examiner to prove they're fake. The text messages will need digital forensics. This is going to be expensive. How expensive? To properly defend this lawsuit and clear your name, $15,000 to $20,000, minimum. Maybe more if it goes to trial. My savings evaporated in my mind. The money I'd just started accumulating after years of being bled dry was about to disappear into legal fees. And the Adult Protective Services investigation? That's trickier. Even if you're cleared, having an investigation on record can be damaging. Social workers are trained to be suspicious. They see a lot of real abuse, so they approach every case assuming the worst until proven otherwise. You'll need to be completely cooperative, transparent, and patient. The process could take months. Months? These investigations aren't fast. And Steve, I need to be honest with you. Even if we win the civil case, and you're cleared by APS, your reputation has taken serious damage. Mud sticks. Some people will always believe there's smoke behind the fire. I hired Gerald. His retainer was $5,000 just to start. I watched my bank account drain. Over the weekend, things got worse at work. HR mandated that I take temporary leave pending the outcome of the allegations. It was unpaid leave. My boss Marcus was apologetic. Steve, I fought this. I really did. But the company's legal department is worried about liability. If you're managing million-dollar construction projects, and there are questions about your financial integrity, even personal questions, they can't risk it. Marcus, those allegations are about my family, not my work. I've never touched a penny of company money inappropriately. I know that. Everyone who works with you knows that. But corporate doesn't care. They see a legal situation, and they cover their butts. I'm sorry. I went home that day feeling hollowed out. No income. Legal bills mounting. Relationship on break. Family turned against me. Reputation destroyed. Sarah's parents called her that week and told her they thought she should move out of my apartment. She'd been staying with me 3 or 4 nights a week for the past few months, keeping some clothes and toiletries there. Her parents didn't forbid her from seeing me, but they made their disapproval clear. Sarah came over on Tuesday night. She looked exhausted. My parents are really pressuring me, Steve. They're scared. They see all this legal stuff, and they think I'm getting involved with someone who has serious problems. I have one problem. My family is awful. That's it. I know. But from the outside, it looks really bad. There's a lawsuit. An investigation. Your whole family is saying these things about you, and you believe them over me? No. I believe you. But Steve, this is really hard. My parents are upset with me for even staying in contact with you. They think I'm being naive. So what are you saying? I think we need to actually take a real break. Not just space, but actually stop seeing each other until this gets resolved. I can't handle the pressure from my family and support you at the same time. It's tearing me apart. Sarah, I need you right now. This is when I need support the most. I know, and I feel terrible about it. But I can't be what you need right now. I'm sorry. She left, taking her things with her. I watched her go, feeling like the last good thing in my life had just walked out the door. Amanda posted on social media, "Grateful for family that stands together during hard times. My mom taught me that doing the right thing isn't always easy, but it's always worth it." The comments praised her strength and character. Derek updated his profile picture to a photo of him with Amanda and their 2 kids, all smiling. The caption, "Family first. Always." Meanwhile, I sat alone in my apartment, unemployed, broke, and isolated. Every solution I'd tried had made things worse. Cut off the money? They destroyed my reputation. Tried to defend myself? They weaponized the legal system against me. Showed people the truth? They fabricated better lies. I was drowning, and they were the ones holding my head underwater. The Adult Protective Services interview was scheduled for the following Monday. The civil lawsuit's first hearing was set for 6 weeks out. My legal bills were mounting. My savings were disappearing. I'd tried to free myself from being their victim, and instead, I'd become an even bigger victim of their revenge. The Adult Protective Services interview was humiliating. Janet Patterson, the social worker, was professional, but clearly skeptical of everything I said. She sat across from me in a small office, taking notes as I explained the situation. "So you're claiming your mother has been lying about medical emergencies to get money from you?" "Yes. For 5 years. And you can prove this?" "I have bank records showing I sent her $73,000. My aunt can testify that my mother has no medical issues and her house is paid off." "But you don't have proof that your mother lied about specific medical needs?" "How do I prove something didn't happen?" "She said she needed heart medication." "She doesn't." "She said she needed surgery." "She didn't. She made it all up." Janet wrote something down. "And your mother claims you borrowed money from her and refused to pay it back. Those documents are forged. I never signed any promissory notes. We'll need expert analysis to determine that. For now, I need to visit your apartment and review your financial situation." She came to my apartment the following day. She looked through my bank statements, examined my living conditions, asked questions about my income and expenses. She was looking for signs that I was living beyond my means, that I'd been using my mother's money to fund some lavish lifestyle. What she found was a modest apartment with basic furniture, a used truck, and bank records showing I'd lived paycheck to paycheck for years because I'd been sending most of my money to my mother. But she remained professional and distant. No indication of what she thought or believed. 6 weeks crawled by. I existed in a state of constant anxiety. No job, no income. Legal bills piling up. Gerald filed our response to the lawsuit, including all my bank records and a preliminary forensic analysis showing the promissory notes were likely forged. Then, 4 days before our scheduled court date, everything exploded. Derek filed for a restraining order against me. He claimed I'd shown up at their house late at night, banged on the door, and made threatening statements. He had doorbell camera footage showing someone at their door at 11:30 on a Wednesday night. The figure was dark and grainy, but the build looked similar to mine. I'd been home that night, alone. I had no alibi except my own word. Gerald reviewed the restraining order petition in his office, his expression grim. "This is smart. Evil, but smart. If the judge grants even a temporary restraining order, it makes you look violent and unstable. It undermines your credibility for the civil case." "I wasn't there, Gerald. I swear, I believe you. But proving a negative is nearly impossible. Do you have anyone who can verify you were home?" "No. I was alone." "Any credit card transactions? Food delivery? Anything with a timestamp and location?" I checked my phone. My records. Nothing. I'd been home, on my couch, watching television. No proof. The restraining order hearing was set for Monday. The civil case was Thursday. Then on Friday afternoon, 3 days before the restraining order hearing, Amanda posted on Facebook, "My mother is in the ICU. The stress of everything happening has literally attacked her heart. She had a heart attack last night. Please, pray for her recovery. This situation with my brother has pushed her to the breaking point." The post had over 200 comments within hours. An outpouring of sympathy and support. People were furious at me. Some comments openly named me, calling me heartless, cruel, a monster who'd literally given his own mother a heart attack through stress and abuse. I called Gerald immediately. "They're saying Mom had a heart attack." Right before our court date, Gerald was quiet for a long moment. "Steve, I hate to say this, but the timing is incredibly convenient. If your mother shows up to court looking frail, in a wheelchair, claiming the stress from your abuse caused her heart attack, the judge is going to be sympathetic. Very sympathetic. Judges are human. Optics matter. So what do? We prepare for the worst. If the restraining order gets granted Monday, you'll legally have to stay away from your sister, her husband, their kids, and their home. If your mother's heart attack claim is real, or even just believable, we might lose the civil case regardless of evidence. I felt like I was suffocating. Everything was collapsing. Every move I'd made to fight back had been countered with something worse. Over the weekend, I spiraled. I couldn't sleep. I couldn't eat. I sat in my apartment, staring at the walls, wondering how my life had come to this. I'd tried to stop being taken advantage of, and somehow I'd ended up unemployed, broke, alone, and facing legal judgments that could bankrupt me completely. Sunday night, my phone rang. Aunt Carol, Steve. I need to talk to you. Can I call you? On a different number? Use my daughter's phone? Why? Because I don't want anyone to know I called you. Give me 10 minutes. She hung up. 10 minutes later, my phone rang from an unknown number. Steve, it's Carol. I'm using my daughter Emma's phone. What I'm about to tell you, you can never tell anyone where you heard it. Do you understand? Yes. I can't live with this anymore. What they're doing to you is evil. I have evidence. Real evidence. But I'm scared, Steve. I'm scared of what they'll do to me if they find out I helped you. What evidence? Text messages between your mother and Amanda. From months ago, when you first cut off the money, they planned all of this. The lawsuit, the forged documents, the elder abuse claim, the restraining order setup, even the heart attack. Your mother is fine, Steve. I saw her at a restaurant 2 days ago. She was laughing and eating a big meal with Amanda. There was no heart attack. It's all staged. My hands were shaking. Carol, I need those messages. I need them for court. I know. I'll send them to you. But Steve, you have to promise me something. You have to protect me. I'm 73 years old. If your mother cuts me off, if the family turns on me, I don't have the strength to fight them like you do. I need to know you'll make sure I'm okay. I promise. I'll protect you. Send me everything you have. I will. And Steve, I'm sorry I didn't do this sooner. I should have stopped this months ago. The messages came through an hour later. Screenshots of text conversations between Mom and Amanda, dating back to when I first refused to send money. Amanda to Mom. We need to make Steve think we'll destroy him if he doesn't pay. The lawsuit will scare him back into sending money. Mom to Amanda. I'll file the elder abuse claim. Even if nothing comes of it, it'll create a record that makes him look guilty. Derek to Mom. The doorbell camera setup worked perfectly. Got someone who looks enough like Steve to make it believable. Now we can claim he's threatening us. Amanda to Mom. Your fake heart attack timing is perfect. Judge will feel sorry for you and rule in our favor. Make sure you look really weak in court. The messages continued. A complete roadmap of their scheme. Calculated. Manipulative. Vicious. I sent everything to Gerald immediately. He called me back within 20 minutes. Steve, this changes everything. This is proof of conspiracy. Fraud. Perjury. This isn't just a civil matter anymore. This could be criminal charges against them. Can we use it in court? Absolutely. We file it as evidence Monday morning for the restraining order hearing. We bring it to the civil case Thursday. This blows their entire case apart. For the first time in months, I felt hope. Real hope. But court was still 3 days away, and I knew my mother and Amanda weren't going to go down without a fight. Monday morning, Gerald and I arrived at the courthouse for the restraining order hearing. I was nervous, but hopeful. We had the evidence. The text messages proving the doorbell camera incident was staged. The plan to destroy me was documented in their own words. Derek and Amanda were there with their attorney. Amanda looked upset, dabbing her eyes with tissues. Derek sat next to her looking stern and protective. Then the courtroom door opened, and Mom was wheeled in, wheelchair, pale, oxygen tube in her nose. She looked frail, weak, on the edge of collapse. It was a performance, but it was effective. Several people in the courtroom visibly reacted with sympathy. The judge, an older man named Hendricks, looked at my mother with immediate concern. The restraining order hearing went first. Derek's attorney presented the doorbell camera footage, claimed I'd shown up threatening his family. Gerald stood up with our evidence. Your Honor, I'd like to present text messages that prove this incident was staged. The messages are between the plaintiff's wife, Amanda, her mother, and Derek himself. They discuss hiring someone to pose as my client at their home to create false evidence. The judge reviewed the messages. His expression darkened. These messages indicate a conspiracy to create false evidence. Where did you obtain these? From a family member who witnessed the planning and could no longer stay silent. The judge looked at Derek. Do you have an explanation for these messages? Derek's attorney scrambled. Your Honor, we haven't authenticated these texts. They could be fabricated. They're time-stamped, dated, and include specific details that match the incident. I'm inclined to believe they're genuine. I'm denying the restraining order. Amanda gasped dramatically. Derek looked furious. My mother's oxygen tube suddenly seemed less convincing. But we weren't done. The judge continued. Furthermore, I'm referring this matter to the district attorney's office for investigation of possible fraud and perjury charges. Filing false restraining orders is a serious abuse of the legal system. Derek and Amanda's attorney quickly requested a recess. They huddled in the hallway. Through the window, I could see Derek on his phone, looking stressed. We reconvened. Their attorney requested to withdraw the restraining order petition. The judge allowed it, but kept his referral to the DA's office active. Strike one for us. Thursday came. The civil lawsuit hearing. This was the bigger battle. $60,000 on the line. Gerald had prepared extensively. He brought forensic analysis of the promissory notes, showing they were forged. He brought my bank records with expert testimony, explaining the money flow. He brought Aunt Carol's text messages showing the conspiracy. Mom appeared in her wheelchair again, looking weak. Amanda sat beside her, the devoted daughter, protecting her vulnerable mother. The hearing lasted 4 hours. Gerald methodically destroyed their case. He showed the forged signatures, didn't match my actual signature. He showed the fabricated text messages had metadata inconsistencies, proving they weren't real. He presented my bank records showing I'd sent Mom $73,000 over 5 years, not borrowed money from her. Then he dropped Aunt Carol's text messages. Amanda to Mom. We need to make Steve think we'll destroy him if he doesn't pay. The lawsuit will scare him back into sending money. Mom to Amanda. I'll file the elder abuse claim. It'll create a record. Even if nothing comes of it, it'll make him look guilty. Amanda to Mom. Your fake heart attack timing is perfect. Judge will feel sorry for you and rule in our favor. Make sure you look really weak in court. The judge read the messages in silence. Then, he looked at my mother. Ma'am, were you hospitalized 3 days ago for a heart attack? Mom stammered. Yes, Your Honor. The stress from my son's abuse. Do you have hospital records? Silence. Ma'am, answer the question. Do you have documentation of your hospitalization? Amanda jumped in. Your Honor, my mother is still recovering. This line of questioning is stressful for her. The judge's expression hardened. The court requested documentation of the alleged heart attack. None was provided. These text messages indicate the heart attack was fabricated to gain sympathy in this proceeding. Combined with the forged promissory notes, the falsified text messages, and the pattern of deception, I'm ruling in favor of the defendant. He paused, then continued. Furthermore, I'm dismissing this case with prejudice and referring the plaintiffs to the district attorney for investigation of fraud, perjury, and abuse of the legal system. This is one of the most egregious attempts at legal manipulation I've seen in my 30 years on the bench. Amanda started crying. Real tears this time, not fake ones. Mom's frailty vanished. She sat up straight in her wheelchair, looking angry instead of weak. Gerald leaned over to me. We won. Completely. But he wasn't finished. Gerald stood up. Your Honor, my client would like to file a countersuit for defamation, fraud, intentional infliction of emotional distress, and legal fees. The defendants have systematically destroyed his reputation, cost him his job, damaged his relationships, and forced him to spend over $15,000 defending himself against fabricated claims. The judge nodded. File your countersuit. Given what I've seen today, I expect it will be well-founded. We left the courtroom victorious. But as we walked to the parking lot, something happened. 2 men in expensive suits approached Derek. I hung back, watching. Derek's face went white. One of the men grabbed his arm, said something low and threatening. Amanda started crying again. The men walked away, and Derek stood there shaking. Later that afternoon, Gerald got a call from Amanda's attorney. They want to settle. Immediately. They'll drop everything, publicly retract all statements, and leave your client alone forever if he agrees not to pursue the countersuit and not to press criminal charges. Gerald put the call on speaker so I could hear. Why the sudden change of heart? Gerald asked. Let's just say they have other pressing financial matters that require their attention. After the call ended, I understood. Derek's gambling debts. The dangerous people he owed money to. Those men in the parking lot weren't lawyers or investigators. They were collectors. And they weren't going to wait politely for Derek to sort out his lawsuit problems. My mother called me that night. For the first time since the courthouse confrontation, she called me directly. Her voice was different. Scared. Steve, please, you have to drop the countersuit. Derek is in real danger. These people he owes money to are threatening Amanda and the kids. That's not my problem, Mom. Please, Steve, I'm begging you. I'll tell everyone the truth. I'll admit what we did. Just please don't destroy us financially. Derek's creditors are serious people. If we have to pay you and them, we'll lose everything. You tried to destroy me, Mom. My job, my reputation, my relationship. You fabricated evidence and filed false legal claims. Why would I help you? Because we're family. That word. Family. The weapon she'd used against me for 5 years. Family doesn't do what you did to me. I know. I'm sorry. I'm truly sorry. But please, Steve, not for me. For Amanda's kids. Your niece and nephew. They don't deserve to suffer for our mistakes. I hung up. I had all the power now. I could pursue the countersuit and bankrupt them. I could press criminal charges and potentially send them to jail. I could let Derek's creditors handle things their way. But what would that accomplish? More destruction? More pain? I had a choice to make. I spent 2 days thinking. Alone in my apartment, weighing my options. Gerald advised me that I had a strong case for substantial damages. We could win, easily, take everything they had, but I kept thinking about what Aunt Carol said, about how this had consumed everyone involved, how it had turned into a war where everyone lost something. I decided on a different approach. Not surrender, but boundaries. I called Gerald and laid out my terms. Not a settlement, an ultimatum. On Monday, Gerald delivered my conditions to Amanda's attorney. 1. My mother would provide a full written confession of the entire scheme, signed and notarized. Every lie, every manipulation, every false claim. The document would be mine to keep as permanent insurance. 2. Amanda and Derek would post public retractions on social media, the same platforms where they'd destroyed my reputation. They would admit they fabricated the lawsuit, apologize for damaging my reputation, and take full responsibility. 3. My mother would contact every family member who received false information and tell them the truth. Every relative who believed I was abusing her would hear from her directly that she lied. 4. All three of them would sign a legally binding no contact agreement. They would never contact me again for any reason, unless I initiated contact first. Violation would mean the confession became public and I'd prosecute fully. 5. My mother would repay me $15,000 over 6 months. Not the full 70. $3,000 she actually owed me, but enough to cover most of my legal fees. If she couldn't pay, she'd sell her house. The house she didn't need, but claimed she was losing. In exchange, I'd drop the countersuit and wouldn't press criminal charges. They had 48 hours to agree to everything, or I'd proceed with destroying them legally. They agreed to everything within 24 hours. The confession arrived first. 3 pages, notarized, detailing the entire 5-year scheme. How Mom had fabricated medical emergencies. How they'd planned the lawsuit when I cut off funding. How Derek staged the doorbell camera incident. How Mom faked the heart attack. Everything, in her own words, signed and witnessed. The social media retractions went up next. Amanda posted, "I need to publicly apologize to my brother Steve. I made serious false accusations against him due to family financial disputes. None of my claims were true. Steve never abused our mother financially. In fact, the opposite was true. I defamed his character, and I'm deeply sorry. He's a good man who deserved better from his family." Derek posted something similar, admitting the restraining order claims were fabricated. My mother posted, "I've made terrible mistakes that hurt my son Steve deeply. I manipulated him financially for years, and then tried to destroy his reputation when he stood up for himself. He never abused me. I abused his trust and his generosity. I'm ashamed of my actions, and I don't deserve his forgiveness." The comments on those posts were mixed. Some people supported their honesty in admitting wrongdoing. Others were disgusted. Some didn't believe the retractions were genuine. But the truth was out there now, in their own words. My phone started ringing with calls from family members. Some apologized immediately, genuinely horrified at what had happened. Uncle Frank called crying, saying he was sorry for believing Mom's lies. Aunt Patricia sent a long email taking responsibility for judging me without knowing the facts. Other relatives made excuses or tried to minimize what happened. Those calls I cut short. I didn't owe anyone my time or forgiveness. The Adult Protective Services investigation was closed. Janet Patterson called to inform me that based on the evidence and the defendant's admissions, no elder abuse had occurred. The case was dismissed. At work, HR reviewed the case closure documentation and reinstated me with back pay for the 6 weeks I'd been on unpaid leave. Marcus called me into his office. "Steve, I owe you an apology. I should have fought harder for you. You did what you had to do, Marcus." "I understand. No, I could have pushed back more. Anyway, I want to make it right. We've got a senior project manager position opening up. Jenkins is retiring. I want you to take it. 20% pay increase. Better benefits. More authority. You've earned it." I accepted. After months of barely surviving financially, suddenly I had steady income again, with a raise. Sarah called me 3 days after the social media retractions went live. "Steve, I saw the posts. I'm so sorry. I should have believed you more strongly. I should have stood by you. You were scared. I understand that. No, that's not an excuse. You needed support, and I pulled away. That was wrong. We met for coffee, talked for 3 hours. She was genuinely remorseful, and I was genuinely hurt, but I also understood the position she'd been in. Her parents had seen what looked like a disaster and tried to protect their daughter. "My parents want to apologize to you too," Sarah said. "They feel terrible." "I appreciate that. Steve, can we try again? I know I don't deserve another chance, but I want to be there for you. The right way this time." It took 3 months of slowly rebuilding trust, but eventually, we got back together properly. Sarah's parents did apologize, in person, genuinely ashamed of their assumptions. They took me to dinner, and her father shook my hand and said, "You're a good man. I misjudged you badly." As for Derek's gambling debts, I heard through family channels that he'd been forced to declare bankruptcy. He took a job working night shifts at a warehouse, paying off what he could to avoid worse consequences from his creditors. Amanda had to sell her SUV and get a job for the first time in 5 years, working retail at a department store. My mother sold her house and moved into a small apartment. She made her first payment of $2,500 toward the $15,000 she owed me. The kids were fine. Amanda's children adjusted to having less, to having working parents, to living in a smaller place. They were probably better off learning those lessons young. I didn't feel triumphant watching them struggle. I didn't gloat. I just felt free. The weight I'd carried for 5 years was gone. No more emergency calls demanding money. No more guilt about not doing enough. No more manipulation disguised as family obligation. I maintained contact with Aunt Carol. She was the only family member who'd risked everything to help me when I needed it most. I took her out to dinner once a month, made sure she was doing okay, and considered her the only real family I had left. The life lesson I learned through all of this is something I wish I'd understood earlier. Family is supposed to lift you up, not bleed you dry. Real love doesn't manipulate, doesn't lie, and doesn't take advantage of your kindness. I learned that the people who demand the most loyalty are often the ones who deserve it the least. Cutting off toxic people, even family, isn't cruelty. It's self-preservation. Sometimes the people who share your blood are the ones who hurt you worst. And that's okay to acknowledge. It's okay to walk away. The best revenge isn't destroying them. It's refusing to be their victim anymore and building a life they can't touch. Today, I have a good job with a promotion I earned. I have a woman I love who stood by me, even when it was hard. I have savings in the bank for the first time in years. I have peace of mind. I have boundaries that protect me from people who only saw me as a wallet. My mother, sister, and brother-in-law have the consequences of their choices. They have the life their decisions earned them. I didn't destroy them. They destroyed themselves by trying to destroy me. Sometimes winning isn't about revenge. It's about walking away from people who never valued you and building a life where you're valued as a person, not as an ATM. Last week, my phone rang. Unknown number. I looked at it for a moment, then declined the call. I'm done being available to people who only reach out when they want something. I'm living my own life now. Finally. So let me ask you something. Have you ever dealt with family members who took advantage of your generosity? How did you handle it? Did you set boundaries? Or did you keep giving until there was nothing left? I'd love to hear your experiences in the comments below. If this story resonated with you, please hit that like button. It helps more people find these stories and know they're not alone in dealing with toxic family dynamics. And if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss future stories about overcoming difficult family situations and finding your own strength. Share this video with someone who might need to hear that it's okay to protect yourself from people who take advantage, even if those people are family. Sometimes the most important relationship you can save is the one you have with yourself. Thank you for listening to my story. I hope it reminds you that you deserve to be treated with respect, especially by the people who claim to love you. Take care of yourselves out there. And remember that setting boundaries isn't selfish. It's survival.